Hello guys, this is Sandra here. Welcome back to my channel, or if you're new here, welcome. It's a lovely to have you here and I hope you're gonna enjoy your time. So in today's video, I'm gonna show you how I created this look, and the whole idea came by because there is a sale. Well, by the time this goes up, it's gone, so sorry. But there was a sale on Look Fantastic and all Natasha Denona palettes had a 20% off of them. And I already spent quite a bit of money this month. I'm waiting for a few things to come in as we speak. And my boyfriend told me, like, Sandra, just rein it in. You're already waiting on a few things and we are saving for a house, which is true. We are saving on a house and I already spent quite a bit this month. So probably I shouldn't spend, even more. So I've been looking at the Mini Retro palette for a while now, and instead of like 25 or 24, it was like 17 something. So, it's a good enough saving, but I held back and I thought, you know what, I have so many eyeshadow palettes. Why don't I pull them out, swatch them, see if I can come up with a similar color story and see if I would like to use it or whatnot, and just hold off for spending your money, because you cannot build a house from makeup palettes. Although I would try, but not gonna work. So I got loads of my palettes out and started swatching like a maniac, and at the end we got here. So I will show you the little clip where I show you which palettes I ended up with and which ones I used. This is the color story we came up with, which I think, if you ask me, is pretty darn close to the original one. It's not exactly the same, but it's not bad. Then I will show you how I created this look on my eye. So, if you would like to see any of those parts, I will have timestamps below. Also, I've done a few other videos where I tried to dupe different palettes, so like the Fenty Money palette and the Jeffree Star Jawbreaker. So I will link those in the cards and down below as well if you're interested. And now I'm gonna just put you through where I'm swatching the shades, because otherwise I will, make this video even longer than it already is. So, see you! I think I managed to narrow it down to these 5 palettes and which shades I want. So I have my phone here just for reference. I'm using Mel Thompson's video, which I can link down below, of the original palette. Now my shades are not exactly the same, but this is as best as I can get to it, and I think the feel of it altogether is really similar. So for the shade Galaxia, I'm gonna use the all-in shade from the Nikki Tutorials palette, because this has still like the same brown base shade to it, but it has this green flecks, which I think is really, really nice and matches well. I'm gonna zoom in properly once I swatch them all. Now the next shade is Industrial, and I don't have anything that's the same sort of a darkness and is still greeny. I have either too green or too blue. I don't have anything that is the right shade. Let me just wipe my finger. So I can either just use this like greeny gold from the Dose of Colors Francation palette by itself, which I think is not too bad, or I can even use like a dab of that darker blue on top of it, and then that way it's a little bit closer. It's still not the same, but again, we're duping the feel, so it's okay. Next up we have the shade 60s, and I thought this is gonna be a no-brainer, but it's still not quite the same. I feel like my shade is a little bit lighter, but it's this shade from the Robert Christie and Colourpop collection. Now, I don't really know how you... Oh, Fiddlehead, sorry. I just couldn't really see it from the side properly. I thought it's one of those funny names I can never pronounce. So that's what that shade looks like, and those two together will be beautiful. But I will try to incorporate all shades in my look just to give the whole palette a nice feel. So those are our 3 shades so far. Then the next shade is this beautiful matte, like vintage pink kind of color is what I would call it. They call it vintage taupe, and I think this will be a good color for it. It's like a pinky brown shade. So there we go. This is from the Becca Ombre Rouge palette, and I think that's a good shade. Now in some places it looks a bit more brown, in other places when you look at swatches it looks a bit more pink, so I thought this is a good option to go with. And then the last shade is Pixie, which is a nice pink, and I feel like the one in the Natasha Denona palette looks a bit more of like a muted kind of a really sheer pink, but I couldn't really find anything other like that in my collection because some of them were just too peach, others were just too like purpley. So I'm gonna use this shade from the Colourpop and Lizzie McGuire collection, and it's called Cutie. What? Cutie it's called. I clearly cannot read, so I'm gonna swatch that right there. And that's my edition of the Mini Retro palette. So let's put this on the eyes, shall we? Alright, now I live next to a school, so I hope you can't hear them too much. Unfortunately, there's nothing I can do. But as you can see, I've done one eye because I was trying to figure out what kind of look I would actually do with this palette, because as much as I love the color story, it confuses me a bit to put these pinky tones together with the greens, even though I think it looks amazing. I had to think about it for a little while what I want to do, so I hope the colors are coming across how I want them to. Let me zoom you out a little bit more. Actually, I think I'm a bit too close, if that's a thing. And my brows are large and in charge today, especially on my right side. Happens. But what I'm gonna do, I primed my eyes with the Revolution Ultimate Eye Base, and I set it with this vanilla shade from the Becca Ombre Rouge palette. And then I'm gonna keep this palette in my hand and go in with a big fluffy brush. This is the, do these have names? This is basically the big fluffy eye blender brush from the Beauty Bay Pride collection. And I'm gonna go into this shade, which is supposed to be like the vintage pink shade in the Retro palette. And I blended it all in my crease. And then in my outer corner, just lightly blended it basically everywhere. And I had to restart my eye because first I used the wrong shade. So that was fun. But yeah, I'm gonna just lightly blend it everywhere. Like so. Actually, this look was fairly quick. It was a bit quicker than I was expecting it to be, if I'm honest. But that's always a good thing. Then I switched to the small blending brush from the same Beauty Bay collection, and I dipped it in the shade Fiddlehead, which is from the Colourpop palette. And I just dipped it in there, positioned, oh, this still doesn't have a mirror, that's the only thing about that palette. So I just positioned the brush right in my crease, and I blended the color there, and as you can see I brought it all the way into the inner corner. And then I dipped back in there, and with the side of the brush deposited a bit more color on the outer corner, and then went back into blend, and then I just continued adding more color and blending until I felt like we were at the right amount of color, really. Then I also switched to a Blank Canvas Cosmetics E42 brush, and first I just blend it without any additional color. And then once I feel like it needs a bit more in certain areas, then I will dip this brush back into the shadow as well and just keep building it up to an intensity that I like. And this is the brush as well I use to blend it a bit higher up. Oh my god, I'm so sweaty. Wow, the kids are noisy today. Then I go back in just with a big fluffy brush. This is just from Bobbi Brown. And swipe it all together just so it's a bit more seamless. Once that's done, I will go into more of a flat shader brush from the same Beauty Bay collection. And I will dip it in this greeny shade. Oh, hold on, these have names, Sandra. They have names. I think it's called Dirty Money. So again, this green, goldy green, and I will just apply it mostly in the outer portion of my eye. Maybe more the middle portion than the outer, so I'm trying to get it together. And I just sort of buff it into the outer corner. But then we're also going to take the blending brush we used before, the bit bigger one from blank canvas, and just blend it all together. I also go back in fiddlehead and apply a bit more in the outer corner, just so they blend nicely together. And then I can go back in the flat brush and Dirty Money and apply a bit more. It's a beautiful shade. Oh, it looks so nice. And now comes the point where I was a bit unsure of what I'm actually doing. Because normally I would use like a gold or a champagne or something like that in the corner. But not today, because the color story doesn't, necessarily go that way. It has a pink. And I was not sure where else to use that pink. So I still use the same flat brush. I just sort of vibed it on a piece of tissue I have next to me. And I dipped it in the shade, oh, Outie. I called it Cutie. No, it's Outie, sorry. That shade. And pat it on in the corner. And you know what? It actually looks quite nice. It's a bit of an unusual combination. Again, I think as well, I did mention, sorry, I'm just going to even out the two sides. I did mention, I think in the Natasha Denona palette, this is a more sheer. So I don't think it looks as pink as this one does, but it is a nice combination. I'm gonna just go back to the big fluffy brush and blend it in the inner corner so it's nice and seamless. And we're almost done, at least with the top lash line. I always have to finish my face so we can put something on the lower lash line as well. But the last step I did is I took my Sigma E47 brush. I love this for my brow bone. And I dipped it in the shade All In from the Beauty Bay and Nikki Tutorials palette, which is my last shade from the palette. And I did not realize when I first did it how so pigmented this is. Yes, that was a great sentence. How so pigmented, I know. But I dipped it in there. I will tap it off, and I don't know if I will make the same mistake, but we'll figure out in a second. So I just swiped it there, and I don't know if the camera will pick up on it, but it's quite green, and it was obviously green. Now it's a little bit better there, but in certain lines it still looks quite green on that eye as well. So I went back in with the big fluffy brush and just went over it a few times, and then I also took my finger to sort of distribute the color a little bit. And while in certain lights it's still quite green, I think it goes with the vibe. I don't think it's as green on this side as it is on the other side. Sorry, I do film in natural light and sometimes it's hard to get it, but yeah, I think it looks quite nice all together. Hopefully it comes through on the camera as well, like the certain color differences. I think it's a nice eyeshadow. Like, it's not something I would naturally go for, so it's always good to play around with your collection, because lately I feel like I've been in a little bit of a rut. But anyway, let me do the rest of my complexion, and then we will finish up the lower lash line and finish the eyes. Alright, as you can see, complexion is on. One of the eyes is finished. I didn't put an eyeliner, but that's coming as well. So I decided to keep the lower lash line really simple, because it's already quite an intense look. Well, I say intense. I'm known for loving a colourful eye, but I feel like for the really sunny weather we have at the moment, it's quite a dark. So what I did, oh my god, if I would ever keep this table tidy, I take my favorite little pencil brush and I dip it first in the shade Outie which is the pink shade from the Lizzie McGuire palette. And I just run this along my lower lash line and wrap it around the inner corner of my eye, just to make sure that, you know, it's nice and visible. And I bring it in till roughly about half of my eye. And then I just keep the same brush as well, and I dip it in the Dirty Money shade from the Dose of Colors palette, and then I apply that to the outer corner. I just blend the two into each other, but I feel like I went a bit too far, or I just want to make sure that the pink is a bit more prominent. I can go back in and apply a bit more. And then I also took my blank canvas blending brush and just blended it on the outer corner. Then I applied a layer of my Marc Jacobs mascara. Now, I feel like this is running empty because it's making my lashes a bit more clumpy than I like them to be, but what can you do? I already applied it to one eye, so I can't change my mind now. I'm only coating my lower lash line with a lighter layer, although because of the clumps it doesn't necessarily look like it, and apply most of the product on the top lash line. As a last step, I also thought it would be quite cool to have like a pearly or a lighter pink shade in my waterline, but I don't have any eyeliners that are like that, so I decided to settle on a pale pink, and I still don't have that. I need to get some colorful eyeliners, clearly. So I decided to go with a lip liner, and this is the NYX Slide On, Glide On, Stay On, definitely whatever, I don't really know what it's called, definitely a turn on waterproof color lip liner. And if you ever want to use a lip liner on your eyes, well, one, I don't know if this is eye safe, but I'm gonna go with it, but two, please, please, please make sure that you either clean it with some alcohol and wait for it to dry, or at least just sharpen it, because you don't want to use it on your lips and then go straight on your eyes. You don't want to put bacteria in there, so please at least sharpen it, which is what I did. I made sure that I sharpened it quite a bit so there's nothing left on there that touched my lips before. And yeah, just if you do that, please at least sharpen it. And let's see if this works. Yeah, it does work. Oh yeah, it works together with it beautifully. Let me zoom you in so you can hopefully see it a bit better. So those are the eyes. So that's it, guys. That's the video. Let me know what you think. I thought it could be just quite nice to see once again if I can, you know, dupe it with my own collection and maybe try to, you know, hold off my cravings because my appetite is huge when it comes to makeup, especially eyeshadows, well, and maybe chocolate. I also had another idea, well actually two, that I want to run past you quickly. One, I thought it could be quite nice to start some new series on my channel, and one of them I thought could be like a bringing back old palettes kind of thing, where, you know, I crack out old classics like, I don't know, the Anastasia Norweena or the Morphe 35B, and I don't know, I'm trying to look around what else I have in here, like some of the Juvia's Place palettes and stuff like that, because no one really talks about them. We still owe those palettes though, and you know, I quite like them, so I don't know, would anyone watch it if I would bring those palettes out just to play with them? And then the other one, I think Makeup by Missa, is that her name? She's the... sorry, I don't know what that was. She's done a kind of video where she was just swatching all her, like, I don't know, yellow shadows, and then swatching all the greens. And I thought, when I was putting this video together, that could be another quite nice, just really relaxing and chill idea, because one, that would give me a better idea of how similar some of my shadows are, and two, for you, I can just, you know, sit down, swatch it, and then put some nice relaxing music under it that I think could be quite ASMR-y, chill, relaxing. How many times can I use those words? I don't know, but that kind of video. So did anyone watch any of those videos? Let me know, I would love to know. But for now, I'm gonna shut up. I hope you have a lovely day. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. And please, please, please consider subscribing. It would mean so much to me. But for now, we're gonna go. I hope you have a lovely day and bye-bye. See you in my next one, hopefully. Bye.